Okay, restarting, guys. It's recording, guys. Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone. How's it? How are you?
Hi, Rob. How are you?
Baruch Hashem,
Rob.
you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How are you?
I'm
Dr.
fine.
Les, give us the news
Shalom,
about
Rav.
the
Wow.
break. Give us the
Hello,
beautiful
Les.
news.
Okay, so it's always called Jerusalem of gold. Well, now they're changing it to Jerusalem of white. We had the white snow, which was absolutely unbelievable. It was so beautiful, and just to see people's faces, brought so much happiness to so many people. And everybody was out, and it was amazing. It was something we waited 7 years, and Baruch Hashem, we got the snow. And they predicted it. They predicted it like a few days ago. And on Wednesday morning, it was actually quite warm. It wasn't so bad. And then Tuesday was pretty hot. And then we just saw the snow coming in the evening last night, and it was amazing. So that's wonderful.
That's very interesting.
Hi, I got you.
I'm going to tell you something.
Is that me?
I just want to mute everyone because the noise, I can't focus. Wait, I need to mute everyone. Before we start with the show, I just want to put two things to remind everyone. Number one, we have Rabbi Chiger with us. For those of you that not going to be this Shabbos and Shul, Rabbi Chiger kindly agree to read Parashat Zachor to those of you that not going to have a chance to hear Parashat Zachor. So you can call the ladies, because ladies, there's a psak halacha that the ladies doesn't have to go this year. Lechatchila, they don't have obligation. But Rabbi Chiger agree, and thank you, Rabbi Chiger, for going to reading for us Parashat Zachor. I just want to add up one more thing before Rabbi Chiger going to take and read for us Parashat Zachor, and then we'll start the show. Hagaon and the Kabbalistic Rabbi Arav David Batzri, he said that after Shovavim is the 6 weeks, we spoke about it in the Shorim, that if a snow coming, it's a blessing. You follow Dr. Les, so Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll see a miracle. I would like to take the opportunity and to give Rabbi David Chiger a few minutes to read for us. Rabbi Chiger, thank you very much. Will you read for us Parashat Zachor? Please unmute yourself, and we'll start first of all with Parashat Zachor. Then we'll move on to Parashat Trumah. Bechavod, Rabbi Chiger.
Erev Tov. Okay, this is in Sefer Dvarim. It's Perek Chof Hey, Pasuk Yud Zayin. Perek Chof Hey, yeah. Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek bederech b'tzeitchem miMitzrayim asher karecha baderech vayezanev becha kol hanecheshalim acharecha v'ata oyev v'yogea v'lo yorei Elohim V'haya v'haniach Adonai Elohecha lecha mikol oivecha misaviv ba'aretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha nachala lirishta timche et zeicher Amalek מתחת השמיים לא תשכח תמחה את זכר עמלק מתחת השמיים לא תשכח.
Well done. Thank you, Rabbi Chige. Thank you very
Pleasure.
much. I really, once again, Rabbi Chige, thank you. I just want to tell you that Rabbi Chige is soon going to join us. We're going to create something very interesting we're putting together. So me and Rabbi Chige are soon going to be performing a lot for you to try to give you more inspiration about the Torah. So Be'ezrat Hashem, Rabbi Chige, thank you for your time. Thank you for doing that mitzvah. Isher Koach, great Isher Koach.
בבקשה.
Thank you.
פורים שמח, כמובן.
I would like to take that. Purim Sameach, yeah. I would like to take the opportunity, and I see that Dean join us. Dean, thank you for joining us. I hope that you will enjoy the show with us tonight. Okay, so we're going to do the Parashat Trumah, but before I would like to dedicate the show in ayat for the living memory of Haim Kalman, Ben Haim Kalman, Rav Avraham Haim Ben Eliezer Yaakov, that's Rabbi Tenza, Esther Kaden Bat Kitzia, Mordechai Ben Rahma, that's our friend Moti, Tamar Bat Zeava, Esther Bat Moshe Levy, Rachel Bat Malka Sultana, Rivka Lea Bat David, נשמתם תהיה צרורה בצור החיים, ולרפואת, in health of, מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, ליאורה בת מרים, משה מאיר בן חנה, אביבה בתיה בת קיילה, חנה שרה בת דבורה, שלמה פנחס בן ישנה, דבורה בת אסתר, אורנה בלומה בת מרים, משה בן דבורה, הרב אברהם בן מרימה, הרב שלמה יהודה בן דליה, שירה לי תמר בת חנה יעל. Okay, I see that someone else want to join us. I'm going to send her just the link. If you give me 1 second. Ona, are you joining us? Are you with us, Ona? I'm not sure if you're with us. Ask her if she's with us. I'm not sure. Okay, so we're going to start the show. Be'ezrat Hashem, na'aseh v'natzliach, v'Hashem alenu berachamav yarviach. The parsha starts, ויקחו לי תרומה, וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ויקחו לי תרומה מאת כל איש, אשר ידבנו ליבו, תיקחו את תרומתי.
Hashem spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel and let them take for me a portion. From every man whose heart motivates him, you shall take my portion.
Okay, we see here that the Torah commands us to take a portion, to build the tabernacle. But the Torah starts with a very important word, v'yikhu li. Why it doesn't say v'yitnu li? It says yikhu, it's to take. No, it doesn't say that. You should say v'yitnu li. You should give it to me. No, the Torah tells us v'yikhu li, you should take. Why you should take? So in previous year, we explained whatever we take from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But I saw a beautiful commentary that brought the Gaon Hida. The Gaon Hida, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azulai, that born in Jerusalem 297 years ago. Yeah. And he explained something extraordinary. It said, "Vayikhu li Trumah." He said that also HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, "Tell Bnei Israel that they must take for me." What it means they must take for me? He said that I also given a Trumah. The Mefarshim ask, where do you see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given Trumah to build the Mishkan, the tabernacle? So Hazal explained, what does it say? It says in a pasuk, "Ve'anesiim iviu." What it means, the Nesiim? Nesiim is the head of every tribe, the prince of every tribe. And the prince of every tribe brought, what did they brought? The special stone, Avnei HaShoam, the stone of the Shoam. Say Hazal, don't call it Nesiim, call it Ananim. What it means, Ananim? It's the cloud. That means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself given the nation to build the tabernacle. And what it was? The Shoham stone. That means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Bnei Israel, you should all give tzedakah. But it's not a chokhmah just to say. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, it's not enough just to say, it's also you have to do. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself show example. That means HaKadosh Baruch Hu lead with example to come to teach us that it's not enough to say to people, just give Trumah. That's one thing, everyone obligated to give a tzedakah. But you yourself, before you tell other people to give tzedakah, you yourself, you should give tzedakah. And that's what it says, vayikhu li. What it means li? HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, I myself, I brought tzedakah to build my tabernacle. What it was? The Shoham stone. Another explanation, they explain that a person has to understand from that it say, vayikhu li, that everyone should take to me. Obviously, everyone take from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? Because a person, wherever he get, whatever he have, where does it come from? All from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But what's the chokhmah here? Chazal say that it's come to teach us very important principle. What is the principle? It's come to teach us such an important principle that the principle come to teach us that the person should not be scared to give tzedakah. Why? Because these people say, if I give tzedakah, I might gonna lose from the hard work that I get. Here come HaKadosh Baruch Hu and say, vayikhu li, that you have to learn from that you take in from yourself, from the hard work that you work, and you give it tzedakah to someone else. You have to remember that you're not going to lose nothing. Not only that you're not going to lose, there is a guarantee that you're going to get double, if not more. Why? Chazal explained, if you have a full barrel full of wine, and the barrel is full, how are you ever going to fill it up? You have to empty some of it, that you can fill it up. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Bnei Israel, give from all the wealth that you have, whatever wealth that you have, whatever money that you have, give of it, empty your barrel so I can fill it up more. Not only that I fill it up more, I fill it up with a better wine. That means that your wine going to become better. That means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to pay us double. So from here, you learn very important principle. What is the principle that we learn? Chazal explained that the principle here you learn that when you give tzedakah, you never lose. Number one, not only that you never lose, you gain, you get double. And that's what it said, vayikhu li Trumah, that you should take for me for the sake of my name. And the next thing it's go and it say, me'et kol ish, from every man. What does it mean, every man? Why do you have to put the word man? That question been asked by the Zohar HaKadosh. The Zohar HaKadosh asked that question. Why does it say from every man? If I'm not mistaken, it's the Zohar HaKadosh on our Parsha in Daf Kuf Kaf Het. That means 128, folio 1, in the Zohar. And he asked, why do you have to add up ish? You can say like this. You can say, me'et kol ish asher yidavenu libo. That's what the Torah says. It says, no, me'et kol asher yidavenu libo. From every person that want to give. No, the Torah doesn't say that. The Torah say ish. And the Zohar say, why does it have to mention to us the word ish? Ish is a man. The simple translation. Chazal explain, and the Zohar say like this. It say, when it's come to say ish, it's come to teach you that a man refer to a person that control his desire. Because each one of us has desire. And if we're not controlling our desire, we're exactly like any other animal. Animal feel like eating, she come and eat. By that you control your desire before you eat. You wash your hand, you vas, you say brocha, okay? You become a man. He said the same thing here, that you have to be a man to overcome the evil inclination that try to stop you from giving tzedakah. Because the Yetzer Hara is all the time there to stop you not to give tzedakah. By that you give tzedakah, you become a man. Why? Because you control yourself and you learn that everything comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means all the wealth that you have in your life, it's all come from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Say the Zohar HaKadosh, men come to teach you that you become a man when you control your desire. When you overcome your feeling and you overcome the Yetzer Hara and you give tzedakah. Adore that Yetzer Hara all the time sitting and telling us that's hard money that you work. Why you should give it to someone else? It's a hard working. I worked very hard. Yes, you worked very hard, but who given you the energy to wake up in the morning? He given you the string to go to work. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In that case, honor him and overcome the Yetzer Hara. So the main Ish, Me'et Kol Ish, come to teach us very important principle. That number one, we should learn how to overcome our desire and not to be like an animal. When the animal feel like doing something, she doing it without thinking once or twice. We have to think, we have to overcome our Yetzer Hara. And that's what it means, Ish. Let's move on to verse 2 and 3. And you'll see something very interesting in those two verses. דבר אל בני ישראל ויקחו לי תרומה מאת כל איש, we say, נכון? Now in verse 3, look what it says in verse 2, את תרומתי, again, תרומה. In verse 3, וזאת התרומה אשר תיקחו מאיתם זהב וכסף ונחושת.
This is a portion that you'll take from them, gold, silver, and copper.
Okay, if we look at these two verses, verse 2 and verse 3, we see that the word Trumah mentioned 3 times. Why is it mentioned 3 times? Many of the Mefarshim ask that question. Why is the word Trumah in verse 2 and 3 mentioned 3 times? So some people say on the Pshat of the Dvarim, it's awards the 3 Hatza'e Shkalim. That means the 3 coin, the 3 half coin that Bnei Israel brought, okay, to Bet HaMikdash, and that was 3. That's what the 3 times come to tell us, that you should bring 3 half coin. To teach us from that it said Trumah 3 times, that you have to bring 3 half 3 coin. There's another explanation according to the Drash, that it's explained that there is 3 levels, and here we're getting. There's 3 levels with those that give Trumah. What does it mean, 3 levels? There's people that give number 1 and the highly level, that the person, when he give the tzedakah, when he give Trumah, when he give tzedakah, he doing it not because he have has v'shalom problem, or he have tzores, or anything. He give it because HaKadosh Baruch Hu command to give, and he do it with the sake of love, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu give. Not because Has v'Shalom is sick, or Has v'Shalom is not feeling well. He given it because HaKadosh Baruch Hu command. The second level, that it's a bit lower, it's when a person see that he have tzores in his life, he have danger, he's not feeling well. He said, now I should give tzedakah. He said the third level, okay, and that's the lowest, that when a person give a tzedakah, listen to that, but he given it not from his wish. What does it mean? He's sitting and everyone donating, and now he's embarrassed to say, what, I'm not going to give. Everyone will say, look at that, Chaim Yankel, what a schnorrer, what a person. No. That's not nice. So what did he say? I have to give, but in reality, he doesn't want to give. That means that when he gives the tzedakah, he doesn't do it with a full heart. He's doing it against his wish. And that's the lowest level. And that's what it's mean in the Pasuk 3 times, that the word Trumah. What does it mean? That when you give tzedakah, any charity, whatever is it, give it, number 1, when you don't have danger, Has v'Shalom, that you're not sick, Has v'Shalom, not because there is any problem. You're given it because that's the command that HaKadosh Baruch Hu command us, and that's the highest level. The second level, when a person see danger, when he feel that thing is not going like they should be, suddenly he put his hand in his pocket. The third lowest level is when a person doesn't want to give, but because everyone give, he doesn't want to feel like left out and embarrassed that whatever people going to say about him. So he said, okay, I also will donate. So it's come to teach you, very important, there's 3 levels of people that giving Trumah. And what is the highest? That you should give Trumah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not because Has v'Shalom there is problem, people sick, or there's tzores. No, because that's the command of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what it's mentioned in the verse 3 times, the word Trumah. So now we can understand why is it said 3 times Trumah. Let's move to verse 8. And here it says something very interesting. And if you look at that verse, I would like you to tell me what do you think. I'm going to read it in Hebrew, and then Mark going to read it in English, and see if you understand it. And it says, "Va'asu migdash v'shachanti betochechem."
They shall make a sanctuary for me, so that I may dwell among them.
And many of the Mefarshim ask that. They said that you should make me a sanctuary. HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked us to make for him a sanctuary, but he should dwell among us. It should say that I should dwell amongst inside the sanctuary. What amongst you? That question been asked by Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh. Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, born in the city of Andripoli in Turkey around 514 years ago. And he asked that question. What it mean, V'shachanti betocho? He should say, V'shachanti betochechem. He should say, V'shachanti betocho, that I should dwell inside that sanctuary. Why should I dwell amongst you, inside you? Say Al-Sheikh HaKadosh like this. Al-Sheikh HaKadosh explained that each one of us should make his heart like a sanctuary. That we should be pure, okay? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu will want to dwell inside me. That means I should be honest. I should be pure. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have a pleasure to dwell inside me. Why? Because if I'm so holy, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can dwell. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is holy. And if I make myself holy and pure, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will come and dwell inside me. And if HaKadosh Baruch Hu dwell inside each one of us, Rabotai, tomorrow we'll have Bet HaMikdash. Mashiach is here. Because Hazal say, En Bet HaMikdash, ve'en Mashiach ba balayla. At night you'll never see Mashiach. But Bet HaMikdash, tomorrow morning you wake up, you hear the blow of the shofar. Eliyahu Hanavi, the third Bet HaMikdash come from heaven. You know what Simcha gonna be? No more tzoros in the world, no more sick people. How you can do that? When each one of us gonna work on himself. And that's what it means, V'shachanti betochechem. I should dwell amongst you. That you should prepare and make for me a sanctuary inside yourself, inside your heart, that I can dwell amongst each one of you. And that's what the Chokhmah. So say Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, each person, how much have to work on himself, to prepare himself, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will dwell amongst him. In another explanation, Rashi HaKadosh, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, I mentioned it a number of times, born in a city of Trumah in the north of France. He born around 981 years ago. And he said like this. And he explained something very interesting. He said, Ledorot, for generation. What is Rashi try to teach us for generation? Rashi I always explain, Rashi speak with code. To understand Rashi, you always have to look at different commentary. And today I'm going to bring the Malbim. The Malbim is Rabbi Meir Lebush Michal Weiser. He born in Ukraine, and he born around 212 years ago in Ukraine. And he explained like this. When Rashi said Dorot for generation, it's come to tell us that it's not enough that him himself going to make his body ready that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would dwell. He should prepare his future generation, his kids, his grandchildren, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would dwell amongst them. And that's what it said, Betochechem, that each person should prepare his heart, should pure his heart, should work on his character trait, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu can dwell not only inside him, inside his children, inside his grandchildren. That means that he should work on himself to teach the future generation that's coming that they should pure their heart, that the Kadosh Baruch Hu can dwell amongst them. And that's the Chokhmah here. And that's what the Kadosh Baruch Hu come to, and that's what Rashi come to tell us for generation. It's not enough that you become a righteous man, you become a tzaddik. What about your kids? What about your grandchildren? That's what you must work. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu will want to dwell not only inside you, also inside the future generation. And that's what Rashi tried to tell us. That's how Rabbi Meir Leibush ben Michael Weiser explained that. Let's move on now to verses 10 and 11. And here we're speaking about the Aron. Aron is the ark, the holy ark, and we'll see what it said there. And it said like this, ועשו ארון עצי שיטים, 2.5 אורכו, 1.5 רוחבו, ו1.5 קומתו.
They shall make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits its length, 1.5 cubits its width, and 1.5 cubits its height.
Okay, verse 11, וציפית אותו זהב טהור, מבית ומחוץ תצפנו, ועשית עליו זר זהב סביב.
You shall cover it with pure gold, from within and from without shall you cover it, and you shall make on it a gold crown all around.
Okay, so here we see something very interesting. In verse 10, the Torah tells us when you make the holy ark, you should make it a 2.5 cubic length and 1.5 width. And many of the Mefarshim ask, wait, Vachabiki, the holy ark, can't you make it a full cubic? Why 1.5, 2.5? Why not a full measure? What does it come to teach us? So the Mefarshim explain from that the holy ark, and the holy ark, we have to understand what is it. In the holy ark, what was the tablets. On top of it, there is Urim Vetumim that we'll get to it now. That means the cherub. We'll get to it now, that on top of it, and it's plated gold. We'll speak about all of it now. But the measurement, it's not a full measurement. Why? It's come to teach us something very important. And Hazal says something very, very interesting. Hazal say, from that the holy ark, it's not a full measurement, it's come to teach you something very important. That even if you Talmid Chacham, and you know all the Torah, and you think that you know all the Torah, you don't know even a half of the Torah, because there's so much to learn in the Torah that you don't know a half. Number two, to teach you modesty and humbleness. That way is the most important thing in a Jewish religion, the holy ark. The measurement wasn't full, to teach us that each one of us should be humble and modest. And that's what the secret behind those measurements, that each person should work on his character trait, because each one of us intend to be a bit more arrogant, to be a bit more, I don't want to say the right word, but to show off. No, the Torah come to teach us from that the holy ark, that the most holy thing that was in the tabernacle in Bet HaMikdash, the measurement wasn't full, to teach you modesty and humbleness. That you yourself, you should always remember that you're not completed and you're not 100%. That each one of us have to work on that character trait of modesty and humbleness. And then the Torah tells us, as we mentioned, that it said there, "V'tzipita oto zahav tahor." That means that you should plate the holy ark with pure gold. And we have to understand, why is the Torah tell us that we have to plate it with gold? And many of the Mefarshim ask, wait, couldn't you make it straight gold? Why you have to take wood and then plate it? Why don't make it cost gold, the same like the menorah? Why do you have to make it wood first and then plate it from the inside and then plate it from the outside? What is the chokhmah about it? What did you achieve here? it's come to teach you something very important, the Torah said. It said that you have to understand that if you are Talmid Chacham and you manage to learn Torah, that means mibifnim, that you manage to mibait. What it means mibait? It's inside, to plate it inside with a gold. You manage to learn Torah and you know Torah. You have to understand that one of the mitzvah of the Torah also, that it's not just mibait, also mibahut, from the outside. If you know Torah, don't keep it to yourself. The chokhmah of the Torah is to spread it, pass it on. Because the Holy Ark represents Talmid Chacham, a person that is a scholar person, you learn Torah, you know a bit of Torah, spread it outside. And that's what it tells us. That v'tzipita oto mibait u'mabahut, that means that you have to plate the Aron HaKodesh from the inside, from the outside. You learn Torah, you know Torah, pass it on. Don't keep it only inside. Pass it outside. Mibahut. What it means, mibahut? Pass it to other people. Teach other people the Torah. And that's what the special about the Torah. And now we ask, why do I have to plate it? We can make the Holy Ark straight from gold and finish. So many of the Mefarshim explain that we know that the Aron represent and symbol Talmid Chacham, a scholar person. A scholar person have to remember one important thing. Although that you know Torah, and people respect you, people give you honor because you're Talmid Chacham, you yourself, inside you, remember all the time to be humble, the same like the wood inside. Although outside people make you a lot of kavod, honor, people respect you, you yourself, inside yourself, you should be like a wood. What it means like a wood? Humble and modest. That means that the Holy Ark come to teach each one of us. When I say each one of us, it's the normal human being. It's those Talmidei Chachamim, the scholar person, that they have to remember very, very important thing, that you have to act with modesty and humbleness. The same like the ark. The ark, the holy place. Inside, it's gold. In the middle, wood. And the outside, gold. Although that people respect you and give you honor, you yourself, you must never act with arrogance. You must always act with modesty and humbleness. And that's what the Holy Ark come to teach us, that every person should work on his character trait of modesty and humbleness. Let's move on, with your permission, if you don't mind, to verse, you know what, let's go to verse 15. To verse 15, it's a very short verse, and I try to explain it. בטבעות הארון יהיו עבדים לא יסור ממנו.
The staves shall remain in the rings of the ark. They may not be removed from it.
Here the Torah tells us that the rod should stay inside the ring. And what is the Torah try to teach us? Many of the Mefarshim ask, what is the Torah try to teach us here? What is hiding behind it? So the Torah, I saw a commentary of Maharam Shapira. I don't know how many of you know Maharam Shapira. Maharam Shapira Milublin, he's the one that started the Daf Yomi, the famous Daf Yomi. And the Maharam Shapira explained something extraordinary. The Maharam Shapira said like this. He said that you have to understand, and also the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh also bring it, Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, that why does it have to be inside? It say that we know that the Talmid Chacham compared, okay, the Talmid Chacham compared, we say, to the Holy Ark. The Badim, okay, that those, the one that carry the Aron HaBrit, okay, that's implying to those that supported Talmidei Chachamim. What does it come to tell you? That the roads always have to be inside the ring. The roads is the people that support Talmidei Chachamim. The ring is the Talmidei Chachamim. it's come to tell you, although that you support Talmid Chacham and you help him, he's studying Torah, you supporting him to study Torah, you actually helping him, you should be not only that person that support him, you should be connected to Talmid Chacham. What it means connected? Don't think because you give money, that's it, it's finished. No, if you have question, you have doubt, you're not sure to it certain, you always should be connected to Talmidei Chachamim. That means that the Talmidei Chachamim, that's the road inside the ring. That means each one of us should be connected to Talmid Chacham. Why? Because the Talmid Chacham is the one that open our eyes. That you give money, that's beautiful, it's lovely, it's the best. But it doesn't mean because you give money, you're above him. You should not consult with him. Every shaila that you have, every move that you have, you should control and you should ask with him. And that's the chokhmah. Let's move on now that we explain verse 15. I would like to move to verse 18. And here it's speaking about the cherub. And let's see what it says in verse 18. ועשית שניים קרובים זהב, מקשה תעשה אותם, משני קצות הכפורת.
You shall make 2 cherubim of gold. Hammered out shall you make them from both ends of the cover.
Okay. Here we see that the Holy Torah commands us to make the cherub on top of the Holy Ark. And many of the Mefarshim, before I start, I'll do with you what we call it, why is the Torah say shnaim? It should say shne keruvim. The Torah doesn't say shne keruvim, she says shnaim, because it say, many of the Mefarshim say, why shnaim? Because in Hebrew, you shouldn't say shnaim, you should say shne keruvim. Why shnaim keruvim? So Hazal explained something extraordinary. Why does it say shne keruvim? And that question that been asked by Rabbeinu Bechaya. Rabbeinu Bechaya ben Asher. He first of all born in the city of Saragossa around 766 years ago. 766, yeah. 766 years ago in the city of Saragossa in Spain. And he's Baal Kadakema. Two Rabbeinu Bechaya was Rabbeinu. It was Rabbeinu Bechaya, the first Rabbeinu Bechaya, it was Rabbeinu Bechaya ibn Pakoda. He wrote the obligation of the heart. What it means, the obligation of the heart? That's Chovat HaLevavot. And he was almost 200 years or 150 years, okay, before that Rabbeinu Bechaya. The Rabbeinu Bechaya that we're talking now, that I'm going to bring his commentary, it's Rabbeinu Bechaya ben Asher. And he explained, why does it say shnaim and not shne keruvim? Because we know that it says shne kevasim, but here it says shnaim keruvim. It should say shne keruvim. In Hebrew, it's called klalei adikduk. Why does it say that? Shnaim and not shne. So you say, you know what's the difference? Because the cherub was a male and a female. There was an identical. When it's come to Shnei Kvasim, there was identical. The 2 sheep was identical. That's why we say Shnaim and we don't say Shnei. The question now that we're going to ask, and that question been asked by many people, well, how come that you have to make 2 cherub and dafka above the Holy Ark? And number 2, that the face have to be the face of a baby. And number 3, why does it have to be from gold, not from something else? So we're going to answer all of those, and we're going to bring now what Maharam Shapira said. Maharam Shapira is Rabbi Yehuda Meir Shapira. He's from the city of Lublin. He born around 134 years ago, and he started the famous Daf Yomi, the Daf Yomi that all of you studying, or most of you studying. He started it. He born in Romania. Sorry, not in Lublin, he born in Romania. And he explained, you know, why does it have to be that question number one that we ask, okay, why it have to be two cherub? And why does it have to be above the Holy Ark? So he said, you know why does it have to be number one above the Holy Ark? I'll explain to you. He said, by that they're above the Holy Ark, it's come to tell us what there is inside the Holy Ark, the tablets. It's come to tell you that the first thing that you have to do when it's come to Yiddishkeit, not to compromise. The first thing that you have to do with your children is not to compromise. You have to send them to a Jewish day school. When it's come to Yiddishkeit, there is nothing to compromise. You have to send them to a Jewish day school. He said that Jewish people have to study Judaism and they have to know the roots. Okay. Now come the Rambam, the great eagle, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon. And he wrote the book, the guide for the perplexed. And in his book, he said, you know why you have to do two cherub and not one cherub? He said, if you would do one cherub, listen what he said. People will come and think that Has v'Shalom, you're worshiping idols. That is not only God, there is also idols. He said, by that these two babies' face on top of the ark, it's come to tell you that there is God above them and you're not Has v'Shalom worshiping idols. He said that Has v'Shalom, that if you put one, people will think that you're worshiping idols. And that's what there is two, the cherub are two. And we see that that's beautiful idea why there is two. The Gaon Hida, in his book, what do you call it? Nahal Kedumim, the Gaon Hida explained and he answered the third question. Why does the face have to look like a baby? The face of the cherub. And he explained that it's come to tell you that for two reasons they have to be. That sometimes people think that it's hard to study Torah. But he say, if you put yourself like a baby, because to study Torah is not easy. It's a burden. Pashut, it's hard. He said, but if you say to yourself and you think like a baby, I don't know nothing. I never heard that Hidush. Because if every time that you hear a Hidush and you say, I heard that, I know that, you'll never learn nothing. He said, by that you do yourself like babies, like you don't know nothing, and you listen to Torah like children that know nothing, that's the only way that you should grow up. That's how people can grow up and can achieve more. And that's what he said that the Torah come to teach us. By that the person teach himself that he is number one, a baby, and he can listen to other people, that's how he can reach and know much more than others. And now we can understand why is it done with a baby space. I would like, with your permission, to move to verse 20. And here the Torah tells us that the cherub actually spreading their wing. And look what it says, והיו הקרובים פורסי כנפיים למעלה, שוחחים בכנפיהם על הכפורת, ופניהם איש אל אחיו, אל הכפורת יהיו פני הקרובים.
The cherubim shall be with wings spread upward, sheltering the cover with their wings, with their faces towards one another. Toward the cover shall be the faces of the cherubim.
Okay, here the Holy Torah tells us that the cherub should stretch their wings. Why it's so important? I saw a commentary of Rabbi Yitzhak Dona Barbanel. Rabbi Yitzhak Dona Barbanel, born in the city of Lisbon in Portugal, he born around 584 years ago. And we explained he was the minister of finance for the King Alfonso during the time of the Spanish Inquisition, okay? And he wrote a commentary on the Torah. He said by that the Torah tells us that the Kruvim should spread their wings. Every Jewish person should strive and to try to rise up in Yiddishkeit. What does it mean? To try to strive and study the Torah, that he can rise up as a Talmid Chacham. Why the face have to face each other? He said to teach us that each one of us should learn one with each other in peace and harmony. That means that we should be and we should live in brotherhoods. That means that the most important in Yiddishkeit is unity. And that's what the cherub facing each other. And we know that Hazal tell us, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu was cross with Bnei Israel, they used to face away. They didn't look one to each other. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu wasn't cross with us, they used to face to face. Why? Because all HaKadosh Baruch Hu say that even if Bnei Israel, Hazal tell us in the Gemara, that even if Bnei Israel worshipping idol, has v'shalom, lo yakum v'lo yeh, but even if they're facing idol worship, but they live in unity, in peace with each other, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't touch them. What does it mean? That the angel of death doesn't have permission to touch them, said the Zohar HaKadosh. That means the unity of Bnei Israel is the most important. And if we want Mashiach, what is the key for it? Look at the cherub. We have to live in brotherhood one with each other. I don't have to agree with your opinion, and you don't have to agree with my opinion. But I need to respect you, and you need to respect me. And if we live with that kind of mentality, we can live in unity. You maybe don't believe in that derech. You have a different derech. It doesn't mean that I have to hate you. As long that you're not idol worship. But you have your derech to worship. In every army, there is different unit. And I say that in all Mashorim. In the Israeli Defense Force, there is the parachute, there is the Navy, there is the Air Force. You ask each one of them, we're the best. But they're all they're part of unit of the Israeli Defense Force. And each one of them play a major role. Nachon that they not all do the same job, but one without each other, we couldn't be. And that's what the cherub come to teach us. The unity of Bnei Israel is the most important. And never mind all the other, if I wear this kippah sruga, or I can wear a kippah shchora, gurnish mit gurnish, buba maisas. HaKadosh Baruch Hu not going to give you point because you're kippah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu not going to give you point because you have a great beard. HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to give you point if you keep Torah and mitzvot, and derech eretz kadma la Torah. The unity. And that's what all the show, if you look, all this show, I'm putting a lot of emphasis about unity and derech eretz and working on our midot. What it means midot? Midot is the character trait. That's what's the most important, to respect each other. I don't have to agree with you, but I have to respect you. And that's the most important thing. I would like to move on now, with your permission, to verses 31 and 32. And let's see what it says in verse 31 and 32, what the Torah tells us. I'm just running there. Okay. ועשית מנורת זהב, מקשה תעשה המנורה, ירחה וכנה גבעיה, כפתוריה ופרחיה ממנה יהיו, ושישה קנים יוצאים מצידה, 3 קני מנורה מצידה אחד, ו3 קני מנורה מצידה השני.
You shall make a menorah of pure gold. Hammered out shall the menorah be made. Its base, its shaft, its cups, its knobs, and its blossoms shall be hammered out from it. 6 branches shall emerge from its sides. 3 branches of the menorah from its one side, and 3 branches of the menorah from its second side.
Here we see something very interesting. The Torah tells us that the menorah and Ben Hamikdash have to be cast of gold, and it have the center branch, and there is 3 branches from the right and 3 branches from the left. Why does the Torah have to put a lot of emphasis to explain to me about all of that? What is it so important that there is a central branch and there is 3 on the left, 3 on the right? So the 3 and the 3 together is 6. It's come to tell us Shisha Sidrei Mishnah. What it means, Shisha Sidrei Mishnah? That's the Torah Shebe'al Peh. What is Torah Shebe'al Peh? It's the oral Torah. It's come to tell you something very important. The middle branch is Torah Shebechtav, the written Torah that we receive on Mount Sinai. The oral Torah, that's not something different from the written Torah. It's come to tell us something very important, Hazal. Hazal come to tell us that your Torah should be Torah Shebechtav v'Torah Shebe'al Peh, the written Torah and the oral Torah. That always, when you study Torah, like we do now, we bringing it to all the mefarshim that's the oral Torah. And they given us the commentary to the written Torah. That means that the same like the menorah, when one cost of gold, you have to understand that the written Torah and the oral Torah, they're all one. And that's what the menorah come to represent from us. That nachon, that there is the middle branch, and there is 3 on the left and 3 on the right. That's Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, all the oral Torah. And that's, you have to bond it together with the written Torah. And that's the secret of what the Hazal tell us. Miksha hat ta'aseh. What it means, miksha hat? One cost. That means that you should make the Torah with the written Torah and the oral Torah all together. It's one. The final thing that I would like to conclude, I would like to jump to chapter 20. Where should I go? I prepare more. What's the time? Are we far behind? No, we're still on time, so there is more. Let's go to verse 26, on chapter 26, verse 35. 26, 35. Mark, are you with me? 26, 35. אוקיי? ושמת את השולחן מחוץ לארץ, ואת המנורה נוכח השולחן, על צלע המשכן תמנה, והשולחן תיתן על צלע הצפון.
You shall place the table outside the partition, and the menorah opposite the table on the south side of the tabernacle. And the table you shall place on the north side.
Okay, I see a beautiful commentary of Arav. I see here a beautiful commentary that I wrote of Rabbi Arav Yosef Dov Halevi Soloveitchik. And he wrote in his book Beta Levy. Listen what he writes, a beautiful book. He said that we all know that in the tabernacle, when you used to walk in, the table was on the right-hand side. When you walked into the tabernacle, what was on your right was the shulchan. Shulchan is the table, okay? And the menorah was on your left, okay? What is the shulchan represent? Wealth. The menorah represent, what is the menorah represent? Rabotai, the menorah come to represent the Holy Torah, the light of the Torah. You say, wait, I don't understand. Lichora, on the right-hand side should be the Torah, and the wealth should be on the left. But here it's the opposite. He say something extraordinary. He's saying what there is on the front of you, the Holy Ark. Nachon? That's in the front. He said, from here you learn something very important. At the beginning, when people come to study Torah, they don't come l'shem shamayim, shelo lishma. But after he learned a bit of Torah, when he left, after he know, what's become on his right? The menorah. What's become on his left? The shulchan. It said usually when people start learning Torah, they still have the brain on parnasa, and that's the most important. But after they start studying Torah, they see that that's not most important. The Torah become more important. The parnasa, it's to give them something to survive, something to keep, to move on, that they don't have to beg for money, has v'shalom. No Jewish people have to beg. So he said, but after you know a bit of Torah and you're enjoying it, when you have to leave, What it means you have to leave? When you leave the tabernacle, what's happened? Everything changed. Suddenly on your right is the Torah. On your left is the Shulchan, that means wealth. It's come to teach you, one, that the person not Torah, he will appreciate the Torah more than the wealth. The only wealth is something to keep you still going, to pay your bills, to survive. That you don't, has v'shalom, will need other people. And that's what the Torah come to tell us in that verse. That nachon, that when you walk into the tabernacle first time, you'll see it very different. You'll see on your right the shulchan that represent wealth. But when you leave, it's exactly the opposite. The menorah is on your right. And you'll see that it's more important, divrei Torah. And that's what's hiding behind it. I would like to conclude with in chapter 27, and chapter 27, verse 2. And now we're going to speak about the altar. We see something very important that the Torah tells us about the altar. ועשית קרנותיו על 4 פינותיו ממנו תהיינה קרנותיו וציפית אותו נחושת.
You shall make its horns on its 4 corners. From it shall its horns be, and you shall cover it with copper.
Here we see something very important. The Torah commands us from all the holy vessel, listen to that, Rabotai, that the altar should be plated with copper. Why? Why is the altar have to be plated with copper? Nachon that there is Mizbeach HaZahav, but we're not talking about the golden altar. I'm talking about the general altar. Why they have to be covered? Ask Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, that the altar have to be covered with copper. Now we have Dean with us. Dean is a plumber. He can explain to us more about copper. And Dean obviously will tell us the color of the copper is reddish, like you all know. Nachon, Dean, you agree with me? Reddish. Why dafka red? Listen what Hazal say. When I say Hazal, I'm referring to Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh HaKadosh. He said, what is the job of the altar? To do atonement for a person that sinned. How is a person sin? When a person become a bit more cheeky, when a person have more cheekiness or become more insolvent, I don't know how you say it, the right word, that the person have a bit of guts. Azut metzach, we say in Hebrew. He says something very extraordinary. You know why we're doing the altar, covering it with copper? What there is inside the altar? There is sand, normal sand. Inside the copper, there is sand. Why is it so important? He said like this. By that there is sand, it's come to teach you 2 things. Number 1, that when a person done averot, he need a lot of guts to come and say a sin. Because it's take a lot to say I'm sorry. And the altar come to represent that human being. When he bring the sacrifice, it's mean that his face become red, that he was a lot of guts to do that. And that's why it's plated with gold. But he say that it's not enough just to bring the sacrifice. You have to make your heart to regret and to be humble, the same like the earth that there is inside the altar. That means that the altar come to teach us a very important principle. Nachon that it will do atonement, but you can do atonement, how? By that inside you regret the act that you done, and you feel like earth, humble like earth. That's what will do the atonement. Because at the beginning you have the cheekiness, the bright color of the copper. When it's polished, it's bright. It's come to tell you that you have to change. Why? Because you have arrogancy. Now you change that arrogancy to humility and humbleness. How? That you think that you like earth. And that's the job of the altar. And many people have to understand, said the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, it's not enough just to bring the sacrifice. To bring the sacrifice is one thing, to do atonement. But what you're thinking in a time that you do the atonement. And that's what Hazal explained, that when a person brings the sacrifice and he see what's happening to the sacrifice, how is he being shech, how they peel his skin, how they skin the korban, he should think that that's what should happen with him. But because HaKadosh Baruch Hu have compassion and mercy on us as Jewish people, he given us a chance to do atonement. But we should remember, by looking at that korban that I'm taking to the altar, what's happening with him? Chas v'shalom, that's what should happen with a person that will sin. And that's what the Torah come to teach us. Very important message here. Rabotai, again, I'm repeating today about the main message is humbleness and humility. How important is it? And now, Rabotai, we're coming towards Purim, and Be'ezrat Hashem, Be'yom Rishon, we're going to do a shiur on a Megillah. We done the first shiur on a Megillah. This coming Sunday, we'll do it again with commentaries. How important is it? We come into Purim. Purim, Bnei Israel eating from Saudat HaHashverosh. By that they're eating from that feast of the HaHashverosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu punish us. Why is he punish us? Because we behave not correctly. Pashut. What does it mean not correctly? The food was 100% kosher. The wine was 100% kosher. But you shouldn't be there. That means even when thing is right, it's not necessary to tell us that you should be there. And Purim come to correct all of that. How we can correct everything? Adelo yada. What it mean adelo yada? Not that we get drunk and we don't know and we behave like animals. Adelo yada, that we can't see the difference between a curse and a blessed Mordechai. Until that we see everything blessed. That's the Chokhmah. We'll explain by Ezrat Hashem some of the halachot on Purim on Sunday to prepare us for Purim. And by Ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will see that we're correcting our deeds, we're working on our character trait to try to become more modest, more humbleness. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us, Mashiach Titkenu speedily in our day. Amen, Ken Yehi Ratzon. I hope that you all enjoy the shiur. You got benefit from it. And by Ezrat Hashem, if you have question, please unmute your microphone and you can ask, and I try to answer the question regarding the Parashat HaShavua. I hope that you enjoyed it, guys. Don't be, if you have question.
I've got one.
Thank
Rav,
you.
I have a question.
Yeah. Sure.
In chapter 25, verse 20, when we read about the Kruvim, it says they will face one another. But in the same sentence, it says they will face the cover of the ark. How is that possible to face one another and face the cover of the ark?
Okay, I understand your question. How can it be that the Kruvim in 1 second can face each other and then they can look at Kaporet? That's what you basically
at the same time.
Okay, how can it be in the same time? So the answer, I think to answer like this, Hazal explained, by that you answer, where is the Kaporet?
It's underneath
Kaporet. So they facing each other. What it mean facing the Kaporet? That means that they're facing each other, but they both facing the Kaporet. You understand what I'm saying? I'm looking at you and you're looking at me, but we both looking at something else. You understand what I'm saying? I'm facing my face to you and you facing your face to me, but we're looking down. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, okay.
So that means that this is the stuff, but we're looking like this. That face, if that's the face, that we're facing each other, but we're facing down. Okay. That means our face is one to each other, but we're looking down. You
Okay,
understand me?
Thank you.
You understand me? I hope that I
Absolutely.
cleared my.
100%.
Good. Any other question? Okay. Any other question?
Rov, you mustn't forget about the Sudah for Purim.
Oh, נכון. יישר כוח, Louis. I said that I'm going to answer about Saudah, how we going to do Saudat Purim in this coming Friday, not tomorrow, next week.
Next Friday.
What we should do? Yeah. So לכתחילה, רבותיי, we should make the Saudah before midday. Why? And I looked at the poskim, and I looked at the Shulchan Aruch, and I looked at the Ramah. They all agreed that the Saudat Purim should be before midday. And Rabotai, I'm going to say that not many of you going to like, but listen to me and listen to the end. Hazal say, Kol ha'oved bepurim eno ro'eh siman bracha. A person that work on Purim doesn't see a bracha from that day. Doesn't see a bracha. And believe me, baduk. What it means, baduk? I tested it 1 year, and I'm telling you it's work. What's happened? It's happened to me. When they built Mizrahi Shul, I needed to do something for the shul, and at that time, Jekish was the chairman, and he asked me, please, can you help us? And I said, sure, I will help. And I needed to go to the Saudah. But because I was so busy to finish something there, okay, I tell you, I ran all day. I didn't achieve nothing that day, and it didn't have any brocha. And after Purim, I needed to finish. So if you have work on Purim, if it's an emergency, what can you do? But if it's not emergency, what I don't do work on Purim, lo ro'eh siman bracha. Not only that, I'm going now to the Saudah. The Saudah should be before midday. Why before midday? So the Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah agree, and most of the poskim agree. Because on Friday night, when we enter Shabbat, we should eat bete'avon, with appetite, the Saudat Shabbat. So what you should do, you should eat as early as you can the Saudat Mitzvah of Purim, that on Friday night, when you come to Saudat Shabbat, you still have the appetite to eat. That means that the person shouldn't start stretching the Saudah for 3-4 hours. Yes, we obligate to do Saudat Purim, but also we have Adeh Lo Yada. What it means Adeh Lo Yada, maybe I should say that now. We have a mitzvah to drink. And Hazal asked, there's a shala among the poskim, and also the Rambam bring it. If a person know that he will drink and he'll behave, I don't want to say how he's going to behave, but not in a correct way, rather don't drink. Lahalacha nifsak, don't drink if you know that you're going to embarrass yourself or you're going to cause other people uncomfortable, don't drink. How much to drink? Said the Rashba, like this. You should drink enough that from that drink that you drink, that you fall asleep, and then you don't know the difference between Baruch Mordechai le'arur Haman. Why? Because when you sleep, you don't know the difference. That means a person should not get drunk. And it's wrong what people come with the idea. There's a lot of sources to this. All the Gedolim screaming about it. Chas v'shalom to drink and yavo, and that person that drink, yavo li'idei bizui. What it means li'idei bizui? That he embarrass himself and he cause other people to feel uncomfortable. Derech eretz kadma laTorah. So number one, you eat before midday. So when you come to Shabbos, Baruch Hashem, now Shabbos, it's late, in Eretz Israel it's early. So for us, it's much easier to have appetite to eat Saudat Shabbat. So you have to eat it before midday. So you'll have enough time to digest the food that you eat and you can go. Number two, when you drink, Chas v'shalom to drink, to behave, you know like what? drink what you can drink. When you feel your head a bit heavy, have a half an hour shlof. And then you fulfill the mitzvah, Adelo Yada, Ben Baruch Mordechai le'Aru Rama. That's most of the poskim, Pascal. I hope that I cleared myself. Louis, any other question? Or any one of you, any other question? Dean, I see that you unmuted. You wanted to ask something.
Yes, I got a question. Thank you, Rav. My question is regarding tzedakah and giving tzedakah to a non-Jew. What is the halacha regarding that? I mean, is it does giving to a non-Jew form part of masa, or is it not? Or I know giving tzedakah is good all around, but is that a lower form of a mitzvah giving, or is it the same? If you know that somebody is really struggling, so non-Jew is really struggling and is relying on you, is it a mitzvah to give, or is it not good? I don't know.
There is mitzvah aseh, a negative command from the Torah, lo tehunem. What it means, lo tehunem? Say, the Hazon Ish and the Hafetz Haim say, lo tehunem, not to give any money to a Gentile. But, here come the but. Lechatchila, tzedakah you do, aniya ircha, with your own people. You understand? With Jewish people. But, if you know that if you're not going to give a little bit of money that can cause Hilul Hashem, give them something. But to give tzedakah to a goy, pashut shelo. Mitzvat lo ta'aseh min haTorah. That means it's a negative command from the Torah to give a tzedakah to a goy. Lo tehunem. If you want sources, I'll send it to you. Where is it say? Every day. You follow what I'm saying? But because this show is going to be publicized in the air and it's recording, I have to be careful how I answer you. You follow, Dean?
I do follow.
I hope that I answer. But if you want, one-on-one, with pleasure, I can show you sources and how it works.
Okay,
so
fine.
Mitzvah ta'aseh min haTorah, lo tehunem, remember.
No problem. Thank you, Rabbi.
If a goy done you a favor, but if a goy done you a favor, you're obligated to pay him back.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we have mitzvah of gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude. So
but it's also Kiddush Hashem to give, you know. By not giving it could be just a total Chilul Hashem.
That's it. If you know that you're not Jewish and you're not giving it. But I don't know the case. I need to listen to that case, and I don't want to speak about that show is recording. I have to be careful what I'm saying. So I'd rather sit with you and want to ask, and I'll give you the proper halachically answer. But in this case, it's a different situation. I need to listen to each.
All right, we'll do a one-on-one. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you.
God, tzedakah. Tzedakah we do with our nation. Aniya ircha kodmim. What it mean, aniya ircha kodmim, Din? Your own people come. Now, not only that, if there is Jewish people in your town, and there is Jewish people in another town, and people come to ask you to help the Jewish people in your town, and other person come to ask you for help other town, you obligate to help the Jewish people in your town before others. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Hope that I answer. Is that good enough?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Pleasure. Any other question, Rabotai?
So, Rabbi, the mitzvahs of Purim, what's the thing of the day? The 4 mitzvahs on Purim. So, read the Megillah, Shlach Manot.
So, what do we have? First of all, let's start from the beginning. What the first mitzvah? Kriyat HaMegillah, nachon?
Yeah, is that twice?
Steven?
Yes, sir.
Nachon? Kriyat HaMegillah.
Yes, it's twice.
The
night and the day.
That means in the night and during the day. Nachon? You agree with me?
So if you listen once, you don't fulfill. If you only went to one of the.
What we have, after קריאת המגילה, מתנות לאביונים, נכון?
Yeah. Right.
Then we have מתנות איש לרעהו. What is מתנות איש לרעהו? משלוח מנות. That's number 3, נכון? And number 4, סעודת פורים.
Okay.
Okay?
So if you hear the Megillah once, you have to hear it twice. Otherwise you haven't fulfilled it.
Sorry?
If you hear the Megillah once, and obviously you haven't
What
fulfilled
did you
your
say?
obligation. If you hear the Megillah say only in the evening or only in the day, you haven't fulfilled the obligation. You have to hear it twice.
And Hazal say also, a person that סעודת פורים בערב didn't fulfill סעודת פורים. סעודת פורים have to be during the day, not at night.
Okay. When I'm being
And
Shabbos,
that's
it's in the
why I
morning.
explain, and that's about Sa'udat Purim, when to do it, next Friday, before midday.
Okay. The same with
So we
Amalek.
have
You must
4
hear Amalek.
mitzvot.
Okay.
Number 1, קריאת המגילה בערב ובבוקר. That's mean in the evening and in the morning, or during the day. משלוח מנות איש לרעהו, מתנות לאביונים וסעודה. 4. Okay?
Same with Amalek in Shabbos Zachor. You must hear the one thing with the Shabbos Zachor. You must also be sure the Shabbos for Amalek.
So there is a shala among the poskim, amongst the Rishonim, and most of the Aharonim agree that mitzvat קריאת פרשת זכור, מצוות עשה מן התורה, שנאמר, זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק בצאתך ממצרים, בהיותך עייף ויגע. That means that most of the Aharonim is for the last 400-500 years ago, even 600 years ago, that they paskin that to listen to Parashat Zachor, it's a positive command from the Torah. You follow? And that's what we done this evening by our friend Rabbi Higer, that he read for us Parashat Zachor for those that can't hear Parashat Zachor. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Good Purim Sameach.
So I would like to take the opportunity, Rabbi, to wish you all Shabbat Shalom. And Be'ezrat Hashem will meet again on Sunday. Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us the energy and the power. And then we'll speak about the second part of or whatever we can get on Megillat Esther, on the secret, on the hiding and the commentary of Megillat Esther, and we'll do some halachot Be'ezrat Hashem regarding Megillat Esther. In the meantime, wish you all Shabbat Shalom. Keep safe, keep well, look after yourself, enjoy the Shabbos, and all the best. Have a good night.
Thanks, Rob. Shabbat Shalom to you as well.
Rob, thank you.
All
Shabbat
the
Shalom.
best.